problem with that is there's 30 ballparks in the league. How can something be 99%? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dillard, bringing another Yankee Way podcast. Hope all of you have been having a fantastic week so far. I am here with my co-host, Mr. John. How are you doing, my good sir?
Winning. I'm good. I'm done with finals. Everything is trending in a positive direction here, and the draft was fantastic.
So, I don't know if you noticed. Well, you notice now, but my room. I'm back. I graduated. I'm back. Job searching. That's kind of why we weren't able to do a podcast. Usually what we do on like Sundays and such like that. So I do apologize for anyone who is looking forward to a podcast. I have been extremely busy with school and graduation.
We didn't miss
just
anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I was right in the middle of 3 games in a row where we didn't play them. We didn't miss anything.
It was honestly with the way that there weren't games a lot because I was busy trying to get finals done and graduating and stuff like that. It was perfect. It was such perfect time because then I came back Sunday and I was able to watch the doubleheader, watch Monday's game, and everything was back to normal. So it didn't really seem like much changed. But let's just talk about just the Yankees in general. We'll get to some topics I want to talk about the past series, the Blue Jays and the Rangers, real quickly. But just want to mention the Yankees are 23-8, best record in baseball. Still do not have double-digit losses yet. Plus 60 run differential, which is the second best in baseball. Only team that has a better run differential is the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Just lost 2 tonight.
They just lost to the Phillies after the Phillies blew up the tank, and then the Dodgers ended up coming back, and then the Phillies ended up saying, we want this win anyway. So that's what ended up happening. But
Joe Girardi is looking on the hot seat right now.
Yeah, I was actually just saying that to one of my friends who actually does stuff up there in New Jersey, and I was like, yeah, Joe Girardi's management skills have been very questionable, not just this year, but for a while. So
the only thing Joe Girardi is going to be running next year is he's going to be manager of the chicken and rib crib. That's all he's going to be managing.
So
yikes!
Some other things
managing in Citi Field.
So some other things that I want to talk about with the Yankees offense. 44 home runs, second best.
Pretty good.
323 on base percentage. That's fifth. 419
slugging.
Considering
that 2 of our batters don't ever get on base, but that's besides the point.
You have a 419 slugging, which is third. You have a 123 WRC plus, which is second. And then you have a 7.1 F4, which is also second. Then you go to the pitching staff. You got a 2.75 ERA, which is third. 3.13 FIP, which is second. 1.13 WHIP, which is fifth. 3.25 SIERA, which is third. And a 5.2 F4, which is first. So just pretty much every pitching and every offensive category, the Yankees are blowing it out of proportion. Like, they're just going in just from both the hitting standpoint and the pitching standpoint. I just realized that I forgot RBIs, but I imagine if they're second in home runs, they got to be like in the top 3 for RBIs. So they're scoring a lot of runs too. It just seems like every other game that they've been posting up double-digit numbers. I mean, it's been incredible to watch. I know that they had the minor offensive slump against the Texas Rangers, but I mean, the pitching was good enough. Then again, it is the Rangers. Rangers are a bad team. They're a team that you're expected to beat. You're expected to win the series. The Yankees could have swept them. It's okay. As long as you keep winning series, that's what's more sustainable, and it's good. It's going to give you a better chance to win the AL East, which is the main goal right now. But I kind of wanted to talk about that Rangers series before we get into the Blue Jays and the White Sox series, which just started, and the Yankees ended up winning the first game of 4. But I wanted to kind of talk about Chris Woodward. Now, Chris Woodward got a lot of flack on Twitter. He got a lot of flack on Twitter for a good reason. This is his quote. This is his quote that he said that was actually posted on a video by, it's either SNY or Yes Network, I can't remember. But one of them posted a video, and basically Chris Woodward said, in quotations, I'm basically quoting this word for word, small ballpark. That's an easy out in 99% of ballparks. Now, the problem with that is there's 30 ballparks in the league. How can something be 99%? That mathematically doesn't make any sense. So
that was the high road that Boone took. I mean, look, you can say that. That's the high road Boone took, but I mean, it's just mathematically incorrect. He's a tool bag. That's what the problem is. And he's salty. All the flavors he could have chosen, he chose to be salty. Like, seriously, I can't believe that an opposing manager is going to come in and talk trash about the field dimensions when it's not like the balls get pushed back for his batters. They can aim for the thing too. And by the way, Torres' home run wasn't even the shortest of the day, let alone the other 2 home runs his team hit that were even shorter than those. There's a legit porch job his team hit, and they won because of it. What do you have to say about that one? Nothing. Crickets. Just that, oh, yo, those fans will be fans. And I'm just like, no, you're just a moron. Like, go cry. Man. Like, don't have that opinion. Like, you have the same opportunity that we do. All right, aim for the porch. If you think it's like OP, then you aim for the porch, dude. Like, stop it. Go play your lefties.
So I wanted to mention that because you mentioned it. Glaber's homer was out in 26 out of 30 ballparks.
369 feet.
And then Calhoun's homer, which was hit in the same game, 26 out of 30 ballparks as well, but it traveled fewer feet than Glaber's.
355 was around the pole.
And then you have, here's the funny part. This is the real kicker.
Was
You
Eli
ready
White,
for this?
wasn't it?
Eli White, 2 out of 30 ballparks. Man, the irony.
I mean, I don't know what other ballpark it would have been out in. Maybe in Houston. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not Fenway. Like, everybody says Fenway. I'm like, no. I mean, if you're not aiming for the pole at Fenway, it's really deep and right. Like, it's definitely not Fenway. It's probably Minute Maid or, like, maybe Baltimore. I don't know. I don't know where else that would be out. Like, they don't tell us what other parks it would be out in. I get it. They play in a big ballpark, and that's fine. You know, good for them. Congratulations on your moment. Like, but, you know, you have the same benefits as we do playing in our ballpark, and obviously it didn't clearly help you. You know?
Yeah, I've said that many times on Twitter. I'm just like, people always say that Yankee Stadium's a little league ballpark, and
it's
like,
not like we're playing in different ballparks at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. I never hear the argument that, like, okay, I didn't know that whenever the opposing team comes up to bat, I didn't know the short porch, the dimensions at short porch. I didn't know they were pushed back 50 feet every time the Rangers came up to bat, the Blue Jays, whoever the team is. I didn't know that it only was beneficial for the Yankees and not other opposing teams that they're playing. I've seen plenty of teams come in to the Bronx and take advantage of the short porch.
Yeah.
Why can't the Rangers do the same? Why does Chris Woodward have to make such of a clown of himself? Because his team didn't take advantage of the short porch. Here's the thing that bugs me. Here's the thing that really irks me.
I'm so tired of this. It's just so annoying.
The thing that really irks me about the whole, it's a little league ballpark and such like that, is in the same exact game where Gleyber Torres walked the game off with that home run, the same exact game that occurred, the Rangers only scored 1 run in 9 innings. Yet you want to complain about the short porch is the reason why you lost the game. You didn't lose the game because of the short porch. You lost the game because you didn't put runs on the board, and your pitching. I mean, the pitching, to be fair, the Rangers' pitching was really good, so it's not their fault. But the offense couldn't muster up more than 1 run, which was a Cole Calhoun home run. That's all they could do. If you want to blame anyone, don't blame the short porch. Blame your team for not scoring more than 1 run.
It's the same thing. Like, we can all get upset about the Astros thing in 2017, and we can all be like, oh, the only reason we didn't beat them is because they were cheating. No, we didn't win because we scored 3 runs in 3 games. Like, you can't win that way. I'm sorry. You just can't. Look, you get, like, 5 people thrown at the plate. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm sorry. It didn't work out.
Yep.
Yes, they may have had an advantage, but you didn't help your case here. I can understand if they were like 9-8 ball games, but they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 3-1 ball games, all of them. So, or 4-3, I think. They walked one off or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that, like, you need to score runs, and if you don't score runs, then, you know, in Yankee Stadium, you're always 1 home run away from losing the game. So you better hit yours first, and you better hold on for dear life. That's always been the way it's played. It's the same thing with Fenway. Fenway, we always know every time we go to Fenway, there's no such thing as a 5-run lead that's safe at Fenway. It just never is the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's both teams have the same advantages, unless you're Giancarlo Stanton, then you just get, like, you know, dead balls fed to you so you can't hit over the monster for some reason.
I'm really glad that you actually mentioned the whole Astros thing because I just talked to one of my friends who's a good really, really, really big Astros fan. He really loves the Astros, and we talked about that. And I was like, I don't even care about the cheating scandal anymore. It seems like half the team's not even the same people. There's players that are on other teams like Correa and Springer, and Marwin Gonzalez on the Yankees. I just don't care anymore.
Gonzalez was on our team,
but
man, I'm not gonna lie to you. He really tonight looked like he did not know what pitch was coming. Like he just looked at so many pitches down the middle. Like Dylan Cease had him just foul locked with his curveballs. He's just like, how do I swing back? It's just too difficult. Like he looks so powerless tonight.
Before we get into that, though, there was one more point that I wanted to make about the whole thing, the comment. I just wanted to nail into the point. When I was talking to my friend who's an Astros fan, I said the same thing that you did. I'm like, I don't care anymore. We lost the game. Well, the Yankees lost the game because, I'm not the one who's out there hitting, but the Yankees lost the game because they didn't score any runs on the road. That's their fault. That's all you can say to it.
It's just that, our third base coach was super overzealous and was like, okay, Greg Bird, you can go to first or third and the ball hitting the gap. You got this. Good luck. Out by 10 feet.
Another thing I wanted to talk about before we jump into the White Sox game, the one White Sox game out of 4 that will be played this weekend, weekday/weekend, whatever you want to call it, because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I wanted to talk about the mini Blue Jays series where the Yankees swept 2 games. I wanted to talk about just the whole ridiculous ejection that happened with Garcia. Garcia supposedly throws at Josh Donaldson. The umpires think it was intentional. They eject him. Then all hell breaks loose. I think it was I think it was the, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like the pitching coach and then the manager, Charlie Montoya. I think both of them also got ejected later on too.
Montoya got ejected later.
Yeah.
He got ejected later for, I think he was screaming at the umpire for some reason. Was it like a check swing, or I don't remember what it was.
Well, I was gonna say.
It was because Loizaga threw up and in on him. Yeah. And he's just like, oh my god, gotta defend my players. And I'm like, bro, it wasn't even that near him. First off, Loizaga can't throw a strike right now to save his life. I was like, the guy clearly is having control issues. He didn't even hit the guy. It wasn't even in that close to him. I mean. The only reason it probably looked so bad to Montoya was because it was a sinker, so it was riding in on him. So he's probably like, wow, that ball was like a foot off the plate. And I'm like, no, bro, it was like, it's like 2 inches inside. And like with no context, that's a normal pitch. Normal pitch. And I mean, like, I don't think Loizaga would be throwing at somebody. I don't think it was Garcia, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Garcia's throwing at anybody either. I thought the umpires went rogue there for a minute and just decided, no thanks, you're out. And I don't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I was going to even say that. I was going to say because whenever Montoya thought Jonathan Loizaga was throwing at one of his guys, it was Bo Bichette, and even Bo Bichette said like later on that he's like, he wasn't intentionally throwing at me. Like that's ridiculous. So at the end of the day, Jonathan Loizaga shouldn't have been ejected, which he wasn't. But also, Garcia shouldn't have been ejected either. It was just ridiculous. It was jumping the gun way too fast. It was just ridiculous.
It's the other thing, too, is everyone's like, oh, he threw at him. He hit Donaldson. You should throw out Loizaga, too. I'm like, okay, first off, he didn't even hit the guy. Second off, he clearly wasn't throwing at the guy. I don't think either of them was throwing at the guy. I don't think either one should have been ejected. But, like, trying to say that because Garcia was ejected, that means you got to throw Loizaga out, that makes no sense at all. Look, the only way that I could see you doing that is if it's up near the head or if it's behind the guy. That's the only way I can see it. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's pretty difficult for you to eject somebody without hitting them. I feel like you need to do that multiple pitches in a row. Even after warnings, I feel like you have to try to get thrown out if you don't hit the guy. That's me.
Well, I was just probably the last thing I was going to say was I don't understand why Jonathan Loizaga why would Garcia be intentionally throwing at Donaldson and give him a free pass on base when it's literally a tied game. It's a tied game against a team that you need to beat because you don't want to be any further back in the standings. Why would they have any reason to give the Yankees, any Yankee, doesn't matter if it's Donaldson, Judge, whoever, why would they intentionally hit him to give him a free pass? Makes no sense.
I bring up I think it was either 2017 or 2018 when Della Betances was pitching against the Tigers, and that was the infamous Todd Frazier game where Todd Frazier got drilled right in the hip bone. There was a couple ejections that game, but it was like a tie game in the 8th inning with like 2 men on, and like Betances hits the dude in the side of the helmet, and we're both like, okay, he can't throw a strike right now. We know he's not trying to hit the guy to put the tying run on, but he has to get thrown out in that situation. And we're like, he didn't do it intentionally. Everyone thinks he did it intentionally. And we're like, no, the guy just, I don't think he could hit someone if he tried right now, like, let alone throw a strike. Like, he's trying to work through troubles. It was clearly not intentional. Like, why would you intentionally throw at someone to put the tying run on base? It doesn't make any sense. And it's the same thing here. It makes no sense. The umpires went so rogue. I don't know what they were doing. It made no sense. Like, I understand there's some bad blood between the two teams because of a couple weeks ago when Sevy and Manoah were screaming each other in the dugout. I get that, but I don't think we're at the point now where we're hitting each other for hitting home runs at this point. I don't think we're there yet. We're not there yet. So I mean, just hold off on that, umpires. Like, they went. I don't know what they were doing. They just, I don't know. Like I said, they went rogue.
Mad with power is what I would say.
Yeah, everybody bought a ticket to watch the umpires this game, obviously.
So now that we got that out of the way, we got the Rangers and we got just the overall Yankees in general with their offense and their pitching and stuff and the team in general. And then we got through this Blue Jays thing. The last thing that we're going to talk about is the White Sox game. And just kind of give me your little breakdown about it. I mean, overall, the game was great, 15-7. There was a little tough spot where Loaizaga ended up giving a 3-run homer. I think it was to...
That was heartbreaking. It was Moncada.
I think it was to Moncada. Yeah, Moncada. And at that point, I'm just like, oh,
was hitting
man.
190. 190, just grooved a fastball in there. I'm like, oh, my God.
It was a really, really, really bad pitch. It was not a good pitch. It was
not
a meatball. It was a meatball waiting to be taken off to Wrigley Field, for lack of better terms.
I thought that Heel pitched well to begin with. I feel like after that he kind of forgot what he was doing. I feel like he's like me. He just forgot what he was doing. He started a sentence and forgot where it was going. I don't know. It seemed like he had a really flat slider. I felt like his fastball, I think he was overthrowing pretty hard today. I don't know. I don't remember Luis Heel coming up and being a 98, 99 guy. Like, I thought he would sit 96. And, I mean, he has a 94-mile-an-hour changeup, which is great. But, I mean, like, that's like there's no separation between your fastball and your changeup at that point. Like, the point of the changeup is to have separation. If you're throwing 96 fastball and 94 change, you're like Lucas Giolito and Zach Greinke, who have no difference in speed between their fastball and changeups, which I don't know how that works. But it does.
They were actually just talking. They were talking about that on the broadcast too. It just doesn't seem like you can distinguish the difference in miles per hour between his fastball and his changeup. And here's the thing about Luis. He's got really, really good stuff, and he has a lot of potential. It's just about trusting his stuff and whether he can command those pitches or not, and not walk hitters. That's all it is command.
They mentioned it on the broadcast. He just seems like a guy that, when he gets to 2 pitches, he just can't put anybody away. And you can see it because he's trying everything. Like, he'll get to 2 pitches because he'll throw the fastball by them twice, and then they just shorten up, and then he just either gets foul balls on the fastballs, or in this situation, he throws the slider, it's flat, and it gets hit 5 million feet. And then the changeup has no separation, so he can't get a swing and miss on that because they just foul that off too. So, like, I don't know what he needs to do, but it's pretty clear that he could not put anybody away. Like, the first inning was good because he got chases on the slider, but then his slider got flat, and then eventually he found it again because Higasho kept calling for it, and you could see him get some depth on the slider late in the game, but it wasn't enough. It was already too late. The grave was already dug at that point, but threw too many pitches and couldn't get through the 5th inning. So no, I don't think he got no win because there was no decision because of Loaizaga. Either way. So who got the win for this game? Was it
Jonathan Loaizaga got the win.
Jonathan Loaizaga That's fun. Yeah, that's right. As a judge. So I mean, look, how many walks did he have in the game today? I'm looking at other teams.
Talking about Luis?
Yeah, I'm looking at other teams in Savant right now. I think he had like 2 walks.
2 walks. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, we've seen him the wheels have completely fallen off the wagon in the past. where he'll just give up 4 walks and we just panic. But I mean, all in all, it was a good thing that he came up and filled in well. He gave us 4 innings. I mean, I was terrified because I didn't think he'd make it to 3. But then he battled and got 2 innings out of Lucas. Well, 1 inning plus out of Licky. I don't know why we put him out there for a second inning. It's like we were averse to using Holmes today or something. I guess today was probably his 3rd day of work. I don't understand that one. Oh well.
So what do you think about Dylan Cease's dominant 11 strikeout, 6 earned runs performance?
Dominant. From now on, anytime anybody gives up 5+ earned runs in under 5 innings, I'm going to call that a dominant performance. What a joke.
Yeah,
was that Don Morosi?
That was an interesting choice of words. I mean, I understand he had 4K,
I wouldn't
but
describe that as dominant. I mean, look, you can strike out 20 people, but if you give up 7 runs, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's not dominant. Congratulations, you lost the game for your teammates. I don't care if you struck out all 28 batters you faced. You still took an L.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like if he was like, let's say he goes out there and
That's
goes.
the first Woodward comment.
Let's say Cease instead goes out there and goes 6 innings and only allows like 1 to 2 runs and then strikes out 11 people. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's
pretty good. We call that. Do you know what we call that? We call that a quality start.
Yeah.
Let's start there for the line of delineation of what's dominant and what's not dominant. Okay, if you go 6 innings and give up less than 2 runs or less, that's called a quality start. Then I think dominant is a little bit beyond that. Maybe 7 innings, 1 run or less. Maybe if you get 21 outs, maybe you call it 12 strikeouts. That's dominant. I don't know if giving up 6 earned runs in
6 earned runs in 4 innings, 11K.
I wouldn't say that quite falls on dominant. I don't know. That seems a little bit disingenuous to me. I think we need to work on the verbiage there. That's no. Chris Woodward would have called that a dominant performance, wouldn't he?
Can you give me
Woodward, if that was his pitcher, he'd be like, well, you know what? He battled in that Little League ballpark tonight, and he was dominant. Get out of here, man. What a clown.
Can we talk about Aaron Judge bolting it down the line to save the inning and give the Yankees a 2-run lead? Can we talk about that?
I wish I had sprint metrics on that one. How do you get sprint metrics on Savant?
You have to go to sprint speed. That's the best I can come up with.
I know player sprint speed, but I want to know their sprint speed. Is there some way to do sprint speed for every time they run? You know how we have pitch velocity for every pitch in the game? I want sprint speed for every run. I want to know how fast he was booking it down the line for just that one event. Because he was booking it, and he smelled that hit, and I'm...
Well, we got to give Mr. Tony... We got to give Mr. Tony some credit, because he decided to leave Joe Kelly out there left him to die with 4 walks and had no control.
That was the dumbest decision I've ever seen in my entire life. That whole sequence made no sense. Look, I understand. Everyone can be upset and be like, okay, Torres struck out. I mean, look, Robo almost might have called him out, but those pitches were extremely borderline at best. I mean, he stabbed both of them. I mean, you can't get a call on that. Look, the poor framing. Look, it was Grandal back there behind the plate, right? He never gets calls. He's a catcher only in name. I mean, I think he has the World Series record for most pass balls or something like that. It's insane. But it was a really poor decision of managing. I don't understand it. I mean, Joe Kelly should never have faced Rizzo. I thought that you should have brought in I'm looking for his name right here. You should have brought in Banks to face Rizzo. You should not have... Look, the decision either is put Banks in for Rizzo or don't take Kelly out to face Stanton. Those are the 2 decisions. And you somehow found a worse option. You left Kelly in to face the lefty, and then you put the lefty in to face Stanton, who kills lefties. What are you doing? He throws him a little down and away curveball. He takes a half swing at it. Boom, 2 more runs. And then Donaldson sprinkles some rain on it and finally connects with one, and all the fans leave the building. And I don't know. That was like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like you can't like anytime a lefty comes in to face Stanton, you better watch the television because he'll do something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he didn't hit a home run there, honestly. Well, I want to see like Giancarlo Stanton splits. If you have anything else to do, anything else to talk about.
I was just going to mention Stan was amazing. 2 home runs. Judge looks hotter than ever. I mean, Judge looks like his 2017 form again. He looks amazing. Rizzo, the triple, good. DJ's back. DJ continues to kill it. The bullpen overall, outside of Loizaga, was pretty solid. I know Lukey kind of had some struggles a little bit, but Green was good. And Castro was good. Didn't have to worry about either one of them.
Castro freaked me out because of the fly ball. Look, I don't understand the whole nonsense. Like if you had Loizaga ready, then why did first off, Lidke needs to go practice his PFP drills, and second off, I don't know why you wouldn't just let Loizaga start that inning cleanly. Just me personally. That's like my only complaints. They're minor complaints. Like this bullpen has been pretty good with inherited runners, but still, Giancarlo Stanton versus right-handed pitchers has an 869 OPS and an OPS plus of 94, and he versus lefties he has a 992 OPS and a 120 OPS plus. So why in God's name? I don't care who it is. Just don't pitch a lefty against Giancarlo. Like you go out there yourself, LaRusso. You throw to him. You have a better chance of getting him out than the lefty. Just why? Such a foolish decision.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed everything down. I think that's pretty much all that we have to talk about. I mean, the team just looks good. The offense is back to just slugging, and that's what we want to see. Home runs win ball games. I understand people like small ball too, and I do too, as long as we can drive in runs. But home runs win ball games, and the Yankees proved it tonight. They hit way more home runs than the White Sox did. They hit 4? So 2 Stanton, 1 Judge, and then 1 Donaldson, and then the rest was Rizzo had an RBI, DJ LeMahieu had an RBI,
a triple. Man, and then, Adam Engel has really fallen off in terms of his fielding abilities. He played that ball like a high school player did. Oof. That was a really poor job.
All right.
That's the only thing that I'll say closing is that Judge had a comment today where he's like, this team has a million different ways to beat you now. This team really does have a million different ways to beat you now. Unfortunately, lost like Castro to that lat strain. I mean, I wish that Hicks would be able to get on base to steal bases. It seems like we've kind of lost that ability. Want to get that back. Really do. I think they tried to hit and run today with Gallo, but I think Higashioka fouled the ball off and ended up striking out, because we all struck out. But the team really does have a million ways to beat you now. They'll beat you with pitching. They'll beat you with home runs. They'll beat you with doubles. They'll bunt people over. They'll steal bases. It's really fun to see. They put a lot of pressure on a lot of people, and you need to play a very good game against the Yankees right now in order to win the game. And I love seeing that because the pressure is not on them. The pressure is on the other team to play as close to a perfect game as possible, because that the mistakes are not necessarily going to come from us.
Yeah, perfectly. I actually didn't see that about Judge, but I'm glad that he mentioned about that because he's absolutely right. I mean, like you said, a million different ways. I mean, it seems like every single aspect of baseball the Yankees are doing a very good job at, especially slugging and pitching, and then also fielding. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming since we've seen the Yankees this solid at defense, and it feels great.
So nice when you see them hit a screaming ground ball to the right side when you see his screaming line like ground ball to third base, and the camera just pans over it, and you see Josh Donaldson just getting ready to throw it, and you're like, he snared that one. Thank you, man. I love it. And it's just so mundane now to see a hard hit ball in the infield because there's no trepidation there. You're like, okay, he's got it, no big deal, easy out. You see ground ball and you're like, okay, who's up next? Got him out. Thank you. And I think his original quote was like, back in the day, we had 8 guys, all the same batter, and now we've got him everyone's different. And he's right, everyone's different except for Judge and Stanton, they're basically the same batter. But yeah, it's definitely different, and I really love it. The lineup is clicking right now. Originally, we liked Hicks at the top, but right now DJ is doing pretty well because Hicks is slumping. But hopefully he'll come around. He had a great at bat today, so hopefully he builds off of that. We'll see.
All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. If you did, definitely subscribe. Click that bell notification if you haven't already. Definitely like the video if you haven't already, and then also leave a comment on what we could do better in the future, or what would you like us to talk about. Sorry, I cannot English right now. But if you guys did enjoy, do all those things, and we will see you guys later.